What's up, people, and welcome back to the world of cards. That wasn't the way I normally started a video, but yeah. Today we're going to be going and showing you guys how we can do a headlight restoration for pretty cheap with pretty good results. This has been done once before on this car. The only thing was, at the time I used pretty cheap clear coat, so hazing and things came back because it ends up flaking, getting UV damage. So today we're going to be using Automotive 2K, and I'm going to show you exactly how we can do this. So over here you can see what we have to start off with. As you can see, there is quite a bit of discoloration, hazing and everything that's gone on here. The important thing to note is that this is on the outside, right? So when we do the sanding and clear coat, this is going to come all the way back to new. Sometimes you will be getting a little bit of UV damage on the inside of the actual headlight itself, and that yellowing is quite a bit more difficult to kind of take care of. But without further ado, let me show you guys what we need and how we're going to start to get the headlights looking from this to this. Okay, so this is pretty easy and pretty quick and straightforward on how we're going to be working with this. Like I said, this is a fairly cheap way and a pretty good way to do the headlight restoration. This doesn't involve any type of polishing or anything like that. What we're going to start off with first is going to be our different sandpaper grid. So we're going to go 400, 600, 800, 1200. We're then going to wipe everything down, mask and tape everything off. We might do that first, but mask and tape everything off. We are going to pull the bump off since it's already mostly loose. We don't have the grill or anything in currently, so it's 4 bolts and it's out. But yeah, we'll do the sanding 400, 600, 800, 1200. We're then going to go and clean everything off over here, and then we're going to throw on our 2K clear, right? So this is automotive clear with UV protection built in, as it is automotive 2K finish. And then we have a little sponge, cloth and bucket here. The bucket is so that we can use wet sanding while we're going through this. We want to make this as nice of a finish as possible. The sponge is just going to be there to disperse our force as much as possible, and then the cloth just to clean things off. It does look dirty, it has been washed, but you know, certain things just get stuck in there. But yeah, without further ado, let's start off. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run through and sand this all with 400. We're going to go horizontal, a little bit of circular motion, and then horizontal again. We're going to be doing the same thing with the 400. We're going to then move up to 600 to remove the deeper scratches that we created with the 400. We'll then move up to the 800, doing the exact same thing, and then the 1200. Now remember, we're going to go and do a horizontal movement, a circular movement, and then horizontal again. The reason we're finishing with the horizontal is to make sure that we don't get any runs when we actually go to lay the clear coat on top. So it's a pretty straightforward process. Tape everything off or remove everything that we can. This whole section here will need to be taped because we'll just open the bonnet and remove the bumper completely. We'll tape that section, we'll sand all the different grits, and then we'll clean up and lay down the 2K. It's a very quick and very easy process. It should take us about 30 minutes to light. It's really not that effort intensive or money intensive with that. As you can see, the bonnet is also very clear coat damaged everywhere there, so that's what we're going to be doing next on this car. And yeah, you can see the bumper is looking pretty good. We don't have the grill in currently, but that's okay. So we're first going to start off on the 400 grit with light sanding with no water, right? The reason we're going to go with no water is just to get most of the dirty stuff off, and take into account, if your lights look worse than this, you may want to start with a lower grit sandpaper, something like a 220, and then move your way up. If your headlights are severely damaged, you can go lower down to like an 80, but then increase your grits as you go up. So just take that into consideration, and also take into consideration whether you have plastic or glass headlights. Glass may react differently, plastic may react differently, so just keep those in consideration before you start doing something like this. Okay, so here we can see this is off to the 400 grit, so I'm just going to show you, you guys can see all the line marks there. You see, the important thing here is that we get all the yellowing out and we make sure that any of that old flake is kind of off, right? We need to make sure we have an even haze across the entire headlight, because if you haven't gotten all the yellowing out, all you're going to do is make it smoother and then spray that in. So you need to make sure all the yellowing is out and all the defects are off. Once that's done, then we can move on to 600, which is what we're about to do right now. Okay, so this is after our 600 grit. Can have a look, it is a little bit dirty. It's not like super deep scratches or anything like that. I'll wipe down once again. As you can see, we're getting this kind of uniform haze, which is exactly what we want. Let me just quickly, yeah, there we go. We're getting this uniform haze, and you notice how there's no yellowing anymore. That's the important part, right? So we have a uniform haze and no yellowing, especially on lights that have these little crevices. Make sure to look inside there. Get your edges nice and clean also. And yeah, then we go on to the, what do I have next? 800 and then 1200. I'm not going to stop in between those. I'll stop after the 1200 and I'll show you guys there. And there we have it. That's our 1200, 1200 grit completed. We have an even haze all across the headlight itself. I even managed to get the top sections and everything else done. So next up, we're going to clean it off properly. I'm going to use a little bit of acetone. Hopefully it's not going to damage the light. We'll use a little bit of acetone, wipe it down quickly, and then put a little bit of newspaper over here, and then lay down that piece of clear. Okay, here's a note to anyone out there. Don't use acetone to wipe this down. As you can see, it looks clear, it looks very nice and neat, but the problem is it's gone and removed all of my layer lines, which means it's melted that section off. So I'm gonna go back through with the 1200, sand it down again, and then just wipe it off nicely with some, I don't know, some degrease or something, and then we'll get back to clearing this. So here we go. As this dries up, let me just quickly show you guys how that looks. Now we can see that it's not perfect. There is a little tiny bit of hazing over there. There's a little bit of orange peel here and there, but we got no runs and it looks 10 times better. Just to remind you guys of what we started off with, let me take you to the other side. Don't forget we started with this, right? And no, there's no tint on here, there's no Laminex, nothing there. From that to that. Like I said, this has been about 30 minutes work, not all that much effort, 3 layers of clear. I think it looks a million times better. So there we have it, right? We've done both headlights. I think it looked all nice and neat and pretty and clean again. We got the muffler back on, we got the grill back in. Next up, we have to do the bonnet. But yeah, I think right now I think this looks pretty good. So like I said, super simple, super quick and easy. The sun is down now, but that's just because I was chatting to my brother-in-law for a little while. You may have seen him. With that being said, if you guys do have hazy headlights, it's a really quick and easy way to get the front of your car looking a lot better. So yeah, until next time when we do the bonnet, as always, love you, miss you, bye.